drought and famine, natural disasters. My baby has been around for me.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Queen of Hearts, Lady V in the building. And I have two very new faces with me. One of them may actually look just like me. And you're not wrong if you assess that. I'm going to let my guests go ahead and introduce themselves.
I'm Quay.
I'm DJ.
And together, they are the Joneses. Y'all have been married for now 2 years?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And y'all met how long ago?
So we met in 2019. Sorry, we have Dayon being extra. We met in 2019 and really started dating in 2020.
Yeah.
Okay. And shortly after y'all started dating, y'all committed, or how long did it take y'all to actually go from dating? Or do you see dating and being in a committed relationship as the same thing?
No, I feel like it's separate because like dating, we're getting to know each other. We don't have that title as like, oh, you're my girlfriend, you're my boyfriend. So October 2020 is when we was like, he asked me like, I want you to be my girlfriend, like my lady. So that's when it started like as a title.
What did you like about her that you was like, I don't want to just date you. I'm done getting to know you. I want you to be mine. What you like, DJ?
Honestly, it was just like a combination of a few things. It was really the loving and care part, more like, and then some. It was pretty much, it was a little bit of everything. Honestly, I can't even put it into a real word, but more like it was just, I don't know. She brought me out of a bad cycle, and then just helped me kind of grow. So I felt like I needed to make it more, you know.
Official.
Yeah, yes, more,
Okay.
be more.
All
Let's
right.
connect more.
Right. So essentially what I'm hearing you saying is you met this young lady. You was digging her enough to date her and hang out with her and spend time with her. And at some point you was like, nah, I need you a little closer. I need to put a
Right.
title on it. Not
Yeah.
only did you go from dating her to courting her exclusively, but you then proposed. What was it that you said you gonna go from my girlfriend to my fiance?
It was just like a time. It was kind of like a timing thing. It was just like it had already been at like, well, we had been dating for
Two
what, 2 years at the time, and then it was just like, why not? I'm not getting younger, and then I didn't want to be with her for, so it was just like, it really was just an easy decision. It was just straight, let's go.
Hmm. So when you think of the number of men who will date a woman or even be in a relationship with a woman exclusively for years on end and not make that commitment, in your opinion, as a man who was like, I see the benefit of making this woman my wife. I see the benefit of having a marriage. What was that turning point for you? Or what was your thought process? Did you have a lot of good examples? Did you always aspire to be married? Did you watch a show? Like what was it that made you say, this marriage thing is something I want to give a go?
Marriage has always been kind of like it's kind of been something I've always wanted to have. The courtship, the bondage, the connection, everything about marriage. I just wanted to be I wanted to be a part of that. My stepdad and my mom got married, I want to say 2012. And then it was when they got married, it was kind of like I was still young. I was like 16. I was just getting to that point where I was realizing like, oh man, my mom's getting remarried and stuff. So it was just a good, a reawakening. So kind of like, so that
Have
kind of helped me.
examples.
Yeah, and another, well, that was one good example. And then my dad had already been married with my stepmom for 15 or so years at that point. So it was kind of like I was bouncing back and forth from one house to another. So it was really like, getting to see good examples, and then also some bad examples as well.
Okay. But you followed the good examples, which is good.
Right.
Quay, what did marriage mean to you? Is that something you always aspired to have for yourself? Was it something you maybe have shied away from? When he asked you to be his wife, was there any parts of you that was like, I don't know, I have reservations, or were you all in from jump?
Yeah, since I was younger, before I could probably even have kids, I always say like marriage, having children, having that family dynamic was something that I always wanted to do. And then when he proposed, I actually was surprised because at that time I was pregnant with well his first, so I was like in my moods and stuff, I'm really annoyed, but I wanted it. Like I let him know when we were dating, like I'm not just gonna be a baby mom again. Like this is I want to get if we're gonna do it, we're gonna get married type thing. So it was something
Okay.
definitely I was ready for.
Now, you had children before you met DJ.
Yes, I had to.
Okay. Now, you expressed to DJ that you wanted to get married, you didn't want to be a baby mom. Did you express that to the previous father of your child?
No, and I think it was
Mm.
a different feeling too. At that time, I wasn't mature. I knew I wanted to get married, but I knew, like at the same time, this wasn't the person I was gonna marry. Like it was a switch as to when I met him, and I was like, "This is a potential my husband. Like you gonna be my husband." I mean, he said that to me too. Like you're gonna have my kids. I'm like, well, I'm not having your kids unless I'm your wife. So I'm like, that's just where our relationship gonna go. But no, at that time I was still young. It was more so a lust thing and not really in love thing. And I just the kids was more so my love. My children were not really the guy.
What was it about DJ that you said, you ain't gonna just knock me, you gonna rock me. I want to be your missus. Like you
Um,
put that expectation on him early.
yeah. It was a couple things. Like when we were at the beginning, we both said we weren't catching feelings. Like, oh, we just having fun because I've been in relationships since I could be. So I was like, oh, I'm just dating. But little things like just consistency. We would be on the phone. Like he'll bring me lunch. I remember one time I didn't have it, and he came met me at a gas station, put gas in my car, like, and we wasn't even in a relationship. So just being a man, being a provider without even being in a relationship with me, coming to meet me to put air in my tires, like he would do little stuff, and I'm like, oh, 'cause I'm used to the hood boys, and he just was different from what I was used to. So I was like, this is what I
Sound like
need.
he did it. Oh, sorry. It's what?
I was like, this is what I need. Like I didn't need what I liked before.
Mm. And it sounded like it was effortless for him. It sounded like he already had the characteristics of a provider, of a man that was going to show up for his lady. And you sensed that early on. It was like, yes, this is what I need in my life. So I hear you saying that's what attracted you to your husband. DJ, was there any reservations you had when because she just said that she gave you your first child,
Right,
right?
right.
She had already had two of her own. As a
Correct.
man entering the dating realm or what have you with a woman who already have children, and y'all being so young, right? Because how old are y'all?
I'm
At the
28 right
time,
now.
at
At
the
the time,
time,
I
I
was
was
22, and you was 24,
24,
about to turn 25.
25.
Yeah, so
Wow.
So,
Um,
as a 24-year-old meeting a young, lovely, chocolate, beautiful young lady who has children already, was there any reservations on your part?
no, honestly, because once I seen how she was with her children, it was honestly like, so it was easy. It was nothing. It was like, oh, this the mother of my child. It was nothing. It was easy. It was done, just like that.
Okay. Has being a blended family been a challenge for y'all? And what does that look like?
Yeah, it's been a challenge. Oh, it's everything really pretty much is a challenge with
right.
being having a family and marriage, and it's pretty much is a challenge with all of it. So I just think that it's just something that you got to grow with it. You got to be
Mature.
mature. You got to
Yeah,
be able to listen, and that's pretty much one of the most important things.
yeah, I agree.
Okay. I do want to know when y'all got into this union, did y'all go into it with expectations or did y'all kind of let it flourish and evolve organically?
No expectations, honestly. When we first started, it was literally let's have fun, enjoy each other, and whatever forms.
Yeah, I think the dating part, it was no expectations. It wasn't nothing planned. Once we, I feel like got engaged and knew like we were marrying each other, Me personally, on my side, I was like, okay, I know what I want, what I don't want, how I want things to go. But of course, everything don't go how you plan.
Right.
But so it just kind of flowed. Just even the growth with the blended family part and everything, it just happened. It wasn't forced or anything.
What would you say was the biggest challenge with y'all blending of the families? Because DJ didn't come with any children, so really it was just you
Right.
acclimating to your in-laws. But with you already a parent already being involved, right? And now you're adding a bonus dad to that. Was how did you guys, man? Because I know personally that you guys have it looks like a seamless thing. But for people on the outside looking in, they may not know what challenges y'all face and how y'all were able to overcome them as such a young couple. Because the dad of your daughters is now in a relationship and she has kids. And y'all just make it look so beautiful for those who follow y'all on social media. What advice can you give to young couples who are, maybe not making that transition or that blend look so seamless as you guys have?
I would say communication and just reassurance and being upfront. Because a lot of times people come from past relationships, trauma, or experience things where they carry it to the next relationship and don't really know, like, oh, is he really still, are you done or are you really still dealing with that person? Or like, and like you said, being a bonus dad and they having an active dad is different. Because if they didn't have an active dad, it would just be like he's taking over. But for their dad, who's very active, it's like, okay, not overstep boundaries. That's one of the things, like, stay in your place, not do too much, but also communicate as a couple and as parents and adults. And that's where it got better. I felt like when we all communicated together and not just a one-on-one thing or communicating without the other adult.
When you say like stay in your place, don't do too much, what does that mean? What does that look like? And who is that for?
So I feel like for step parents, like not overstepping boundaries, allowing the primary or the actual parents discuss things, be there, state your opinion or whatever. I mean, he can speak on his part of being a stepdad or bonus dad, but I just not overstepping, allowing them to communicate as the parents and, speak when spoken to or state your opinion without, I guess, doing too much, like not saying too much or trying to regulate.
Right.
Okay. DJ, you have anything to add to that?
Um, being a stepdad, honestly, it's pretty
It wasn't hard for you?
no, honestly, because like I said, my dad raised my
Oh
brothers,
yeah.
my step brothers, so I kind of got an idea. Like I said, I had good examples, and then that was just one of the great examples. Honestly, he raised all my brothers, Antoine, Antonio, Dominique, me. Um, and we all grew up under one big net through high school, and kind of as I seen it grow as one as him and having a company, and then not having a company, and then everything. Pretty much his whole, let's say, from 40 to whatever age on now, 20 plus years of examples of what a stepfather and a dad and a provider for was.
Like that. And you're very blessed, it sounds like, right? Because you not only had the example of what a dad is, because I see how close you and your dad is, and it's a beautiful thing to see. You could be like, oh, senior, and like just the
Right.
responsiveness and the interaction. Like I love seeing the bond you and your dad have. And not only do you have your dad as that figure, but he's also been a role model as a husband, right? And you also seen how he's handled blending of families when he got with his wife and she had children. So you really did have these examples that didn't allow you to shy away from exactly this thing that you and your wife have going on. So I
Right.
think that's an amazing thing. For you, Quay, what were your examples? I mean, I could speak for you, but I'm
I was
not
about to
because I want
say.
to know your perspective on what examples you had in marriage because, you look at our family, it's a big family, but when you
Right.
look at both your sides.
So I feel like I grew up on marriage, especially with my great aunts. Everyone was married, since I've been born, and then having my stepdad. being in my life since 5. I was like 5. And seeing that dynamic, him, take me in as his own, raising me. So it was, I mean, I'm used to, I would say, having that step parent or seeing people married in my family. But I always knew my idea of it because you see stuff, you learn from it, you know what you like, what you don't like. And that's exactly what I took from it. I was very observant as a child, so I paid attention to certain things.
Like that you said that, and I think that's very important because I feel like we can learn from good marriages, we can learn from bad marriages. We don't always have to have a perfect marriage in front of us to be able to extract certain qualities that we see and want to emulate, or certain characteristics that we want to adopt for ourselves. So,
Right.
and it looks like you guys are really doing that. DJ,
Yes.
what's something small that your wife does that makes a big difference in your marriage?
Um, Something that's really small that really gets overlooked is the consistency and how she brings the day. The every day is not gonna be perfect day, but every day is consistent. Every day is pretty much what it's gonna be, and there's no flaking it. There's no playing around with it. It's just straightforward. This is what it's gonna be, and I love
In
that.
terms of what?
What you mean?
And
Like
I mean, consistency, like as in, like
the
she's
household or
like
you?
she holds it down. Like I mean, as in I expect something to happen that way, one way, and it's just gonna be it's done that way. And you know what I mean? I think that's just it might be a small thing for a lot of people, but I think being consistent in the house with a full of kids and stuff like that, I think that's really, really important.
you know you're gonna get a meal, you know the house gonna clean, you know laundry gonna get done, the kids gonna get taken care of.
Like Saturdays or something, Sundays we cleaning the house, or you know what I mean, just certain things like rules and regulations. I just think that those are, consistent things that I just love. I think that that are needed.
And so she brings a routine to the dynamic that you actually appreciate, and it doesn't sound like you shy away from or you repulse.
No.
Okay. All right. I like that. What's something small that your husband does, Quay, that you really appreciate and that has enhanced your marriage?
I just think his thoughtfulness and consideration as far as something as little as food, something that he been doing before we were married. Like, did you eat? Like, check every day, all day. Did you eat? Cause I'll go hours without eating, and he'll just bring food in. I don't even ask. So he just makes sure the whole family fed.
That's what's up. And that goes back to the providership without even thinking. My wife and kids, that's awesome. I love it. How do you handle conflicts and disagreements in the relationship? We know that could be done. It ain't gotta be a perfect way. It could
Um,
be tried and true, but either one of y'all can choose to tackle that. But we know that conflicts and disagreements is a normal part of any
Right.
type of relationship or marriage, and they're going to come up. But for y'all to be able to sit side by side and, look loving and happy the way you are, how do you guys handle that when it comes up?
it took work. It took a lot of work, but I would say for him, I have to give kudos to him because he's like always been the communicator, been patient. Me, not so much. Like I shut down, like, and I don't want to talk or I don't want to be bothered. Like he's the type, well, no, we need to sit down, we need to have a conversation. So conflict usually will be me raising my voice, me shutting down. But I feel like the past few months to a year, it's been like, all right, we need to talk about stuff or we need to sit down, do a plan, whether it's about bills, household things, something I don't like, you don't like. We're able to actually sit down and have a civil conversation and resolve the issue.
What if one of you guys just don't feel like talking? Because there's times when there could be a heated blow up, there could be, a real serious disagreement, and somebody's in their feelings. And, I hear people say, well, when you're in your feelings, I give you space because if I don't, I can get an unwanted reaction that can make things worse. Do you guys force yourself to communicate when you're not in the mood? Like, is that a rule for y'all? Or do y'all have a rule where, we're going to take some time and we're going to revisit this? Like the whole never go to bed angry at your spouse
Right.
type thing.
Right.
Like, what's your mindset in approaching the communication after a conflict or a disagreement?
With that, I think that's kind of like sometimes there's like I said, every situation is different. So you might have one situation where we done argued about some clothes not being folded or something. You know what I mean? Let's say something small as clothes not being folded. But that's something that just kind of we just talk through it. As in like, oh, I might have been mad for 5 minutes, but I walk downstairs, get the basket, come back up. We're gonna talk about that. You know what I mean? Or and if there's a real serious situation where it's like about the kids or something, let's say a serious situation, that's more like, oh, we're gonna talk about it throughout the week. It ain't gonna be just one day. It's gonna be, oh well, today we talk a little bit about it here, or we didn't talk about it that much here. Let's talk about it today. Or we didn't talk about it much that day. Let's try to expand on it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of like each thing is different, but there's definitely space given and there's definitely time given.
Where it's like, and then there's times where it's just like, all right, well, we got to talk about it before you go to work, or it got to be talked about before, like, it's an expiration date. Like, we can't go too long without talking about something.
Right.
So.
I'm not just sweeping things under the rug.
Right now, that doesn't work.
Fair, right. Can you tell when your husband is upset or annoyed? Even if he doesn't speak on it, use his words. Can you tell?
Yes, I could tell when his energy is off in general, and I'll just be like, whether he's in the house or not, I'm just like, you good? Like, or if he looking the same way, or he'll sometimes be like, I'm fine. I'm like, well, why are you breathing like that? Or why are you looking like that? So yeah, and same with him. That's one thing at the beginning that I liked. Like he read me. Like nobody ever read me the way that he read me. So it was just like new, and I wouldn't even show it. It's just I don't know, some type of connection that he knew. Like, you ain't fine. Even when I'm like, I'm good. He'd be like, no, you're not. So, okay.
To get it talking.
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like y'all both are really in agreement with communication. And y'all are big on and communication, right, is the ability to speak and to be heard. And then hopefully there's change that takes place because you could talk all you want. But I also feel like if I'm expressing to you that I have a concern or a problem and an issue, and we talk about it and it's resolved for that moment, but you keep repeating it, that can cause more compounding issues. Are y'all conflict resoluted? Do you feel like the communication actually helps you resolve the challenge or issue that you're having, or does it just allow you to talk about it and vent?
It varies. There's little things like he talk about folding clothes or just cleaning up. Like that's really what our arguments be about. Like we don't really have big arguments. It's just about little like why you didn't do dishes? Why you didn't pick up your clothes? Like little stuff like that. So it's like something that's all right. We got to keep talking about this. Where I just get annoyed. But he'd be like, you just gotta communicate. And I'm like, I don't want to communicate. She
said, I'm done. All right. Well,
yeah.
If you're done, okay. All right, I'll go fold the clothes.
And then there's sometimes where he just feel my energy and he's like, all right, let me do it before she say something.
Let me start straightening up.
Yeah.
Then she'll come help me. And then I'm out the way.
I like that. I like that. You figured out the cheat code.
Right.
So it sounds like she wants to see you making the effort. And once you make the effort, she gonna come have you back anyway, and then you off the hook.
Right.
That's my love language, acts of service.
And I'm obviously gonna be in the way. Like sometimes she might be doing something and she's already knowing it, but I'm like, why are you even doing this? What do you like? All right, get out the way. You go back to get to straighten it up, or you know what I mean? It's just a category of things that you just want to say. All right, she's not gonna be doing this lifting stuff. No, right. I'll take care of that. But yeah, you get the little small stuff, the dishes.
Question for y'all. Y'all young. Y'all met young. Early 20s is young. Mid 20s is young. And we see that people evolve, right? As you guys age and the kids get older, the expectations will be different. Your outlook on life will be different. Your requirements of one another will look different. What is deal breakers for y'all? Is cheating a deal breaker? Is addiction a deal breaker? Is abuse a deal breaker? When y'all think about y'all marriage and you kind of think about what other marriages have faced, what does the Jones say is our deal breaker? Or do you have one?
I don't think we really like talked about a deal breaker, and I feel like cheating at one point would have been my deal, like physical cheating, because there's people who just emotionally cheat, text talk, but not actually, perform. So I feel like in my mind, the physical cheating would be a deal breaker for me. But at the same time, I really don't know till I get to that point. You know, like I just don't. I can't say for sure. I might just be like, all right, I gotta get my leg. It's like, no, I'm just but no,
You see,
seriously.
it's on the.
But no, seriously, it's just like I don't really have one addiction.
We don't have those type of things
Yeah,
going on
like
in our house.
but I'm not
You
the
don't have
person.
one,
I'm not the
DJ?
person that say never. Like I never say never. So I just never know until I get to that point, and I'm like, all right, this is too much, or I can't do this. But yeah,
Abuse is
abuse
definitely
probably
something,
would be
definitely something that
definitely
we
the
don't,
deal
you know,
breaker.
something that we just trying to. We don't want that to even be
Marriage,
in our
yeah.
marriage because it just seems like that abuse can lead to multiple different things. So I just
Mhm.
feel like we're gonna nip it in the butt with just like that's probably I would say that's our
That's the
deal
deal
breaker.
breaker.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? As in like we don't want to put our hands on each other. We don't want to
Affect the
affect
kids.
the kids
Yeah.
because all this stuff ends up falling back on us, and then it's just gonna compound really, and we don't want that. So
Yeah.
I would
That'd
definitely
probably be
say
abuse. Deal breaker.
abuse at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Is cheating
But
a
like
deal breaker for you, DJ?
yeah, but like I said, that physical and again there's emotional. This like it's like she said, her example of what cheating would be my example of you know what I mean. So it's kind of like hand in hand. We're kind of on the same page on pretty much. That's why it kind of falls all together because we're pretty much on the same page as in what we demand out of each other.
Right.
Okay. Divorce. Is that ever an option?
No. No. As in
Two
like
kind of different
as in like
responses. Do y'all
as in
when I say
as
is it
in
an
like
option, I just mean as a couple, do you believe in divorce in and of itself? Or do you feel like be outside of abuse, because that's y'all deal
Right.
breaker? Do you feel like no matter what we encounter, we are supposed to work through this? Because I asked the deal breaker first intentionally, like abuse is the reason for me to leave you behind. But
Right.
outside of that, if we physically respect one another and know not we're not going to disrespect each other in that sense,
right.
there's nothing that could come in between us. We're going to work through it. Or just as a couple period, when you're entering a marriage, do you keep it? There's people who say I get married because I know divorce is an option. What are you guys' take on that?
Yeah, I think at the beginning we said that like
This is
this is it.
it.
Yeah, we're
Like
not
when I
doing the remarriage,
it's one
divorce.
marriage. It's just that's what it's gonna be. Like we like I said, we put it to a point where we gonna say if it gets to one point, we got enough that we done work through enough that we can get through it.
Yeah.
And then there's just like I said, they're deal breakers, and then the deal breakers are what I mean, basically keep us from getting to the D word. You know what I mean? So we don't really try to use those things as in like a step stool. So it's like it's we don't want to get to that point.
Okay, very very fair. Social media. Y'all grew up in the area of social media. I was kind of already in that phase where I could take it or leave it. I dislike it most days. I don't. But y'all are in the thick of it. Like y'all are like social media icons.
Mm.
Quay, you have developed this following for your family and people I noticed that, the public loves seeing you guys on the screen. You guys are just really a beautiful couple. Um, has any social media pressures impacted y'all? Or what advice would you give to other young couples who are growing in the social media era where no, I need him to pay all the bills, or I believe in gender roles. I'm not taking out garbage. Like, what is your thoughts in terms of the expectations that a lot of young women and men have of each other that might prevent them from getting to the stage that y'all are at?
Don't pay attention to it because I learned a lot of it is a facade. A lot of people who promote that or seem to be, so happy in these roles really be miserable. Like the ones, I mean, not everybody miserable, but a lot of people aren't happy. Like people would think, oh, stay-at-home moms are happy. Not all the time. In the bill, the 50, I don't mind the 50-50. Like I'm just that type of person where I don't like depending on people. I'm just independent. That's how I was raised. That's how I was brought up. So it's hard for me to not, give my portion of the bills or anything. We're just now getting to the point where I'm like, all right, well, I'll let you, pay the bills. I'll spend the money on like our trips and stuff like that. So either way, we both put in. I don't feel like a man solely should take care of everything. That's draining. That's too much.
Yeah, everything, all this TikTok and Instagram stuff, all that stuff is just it's not real. It's not. It's all just for you to say, oh yeah, this is why I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? It's giving you examples of why you shouldn't get married or why you shouldn't do this in your marriage or why you shouldn't do. Everybody's gonna have an opinion, and you gotta just let that stuff slide. If you gotta know what you want in your marriage, and that's the most important part.
Right. Stop comparing to other people because what works for somebody else ain't gonna work for you.
Exactly.
So.
Y'all better preach. All right, so I know I'm winding down. I borrowed enough of your time. I got the kids. I know you said the baby is there and they're being super good. So the last couple minutes, I just want to ask y'all, what are your goals as a couple? Right now, your babies were, as of a couple of days ago, 1, 3, 5, and 7. You now have 1, 3, 6, and 7. Eventually, it's going to be 2, 4, 6, and 8.
Yeah.
They're going to be older. Like, what goals have you guys established as a couple, either in the short term or in the long term? Like, what are your expectations for your family?
Spending more time. My goal is financial freedom to where I don't have to worry. I can spend that quality time without stressing about doing 40 hours or, and just having that family time, continuing vacations. I love taking vacations. Of course, getting more husband and wife time because I feel like with the kids, pregnancies, that kind of set us back a couple times. So I noticed the more further I go in postpartum, the better it gets with us in our relationship. We get closer. So just time, quality time, I guess.
One of our biggest goals is really expanding because our house. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a house at the moment, but we want to grow it and make it
Bigger.
A compound or whatever you want to. You know what I mean? Just make it as something that's going to be wealthy and something that build generational stuff for our kids and stuff. Maybe they even have a house or something like that. But the goal is to get financially free and not be working under somebody else's construction.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I know, Quay, you mentioned just pouring into your husband because y'all are the foundation. You talk about building a compound, building something up. DJ, you mentioned being bigger, at the metaphorically speaking, the foundation of that wealth building and stability is you two, right? Because if you two aren't, someone up the talk, no, it's okay.
Right.
If you two aren't foundationally sound, there's going to be some cracks in that structure of you guys building. So what with having kids, because between y'all have the 4 kids, with having kids, how do y'all still make time for one another?
I'm sorry. Hold on.
It's okay. Your video went out, FYI. There you go. If you want to hold it, you can. Oh, okay.
That's good. It's my case, probably. Repeat your question. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, how are you guys making time for one another? What are you intentional about? Because you said that, as the postpartum,
Yeah.
gets, goes down the way, your kids are getting older. You see that pouring into your relationship has helped. What do you do that's intentional about making sure you and him get the time y'all need to keep things going and growing and glowing?
So it can be hard with kids because I'm a person I don't like to overstimulate or overwhelm other people with asking them to, watch my kids. I'm just like that. Right. So it will just as little was all right when you get home or on your days off. We need to make time for us. Let's watch because we watch couples. Like I have this couples podcast that I like to watch, and we'll laugh and talk about it. Like, oh yeah, that's you or that's me. Like just having that quality time, even just not looking at our phones or watching a movie together. And then if we have the time, if our parents able to, let's take a trip. Let's either a weekend thing or go out the country, whatever. Just having that us time because I feel like that's important.
One thing I really do love about y'all that I think needs to be said is I don't know if it's individually one has influenced the other or collectively y'all both are on the same page, but y'all are simple. Y'all are a simple couple. Y'all don't require too much of one another in terms of like grand gestures. Even with the wedding, right? I was so touched by the beauty of the wedding. It was just like simple elegance. You was like, I don't need all that extra stuff. We don't need limos. We don't need flowers. We don't need bridesmaids. It's me and you doing this thing. And the coming of the two families, that was just amazing. And then for your recent anniversary, I know you weren't feeling well. I think DJ had to work that weekend or something. It was simple as somebody's taking the kids and we're at home. You know, you had your candles. He went and got takeout. Y'all watched a movie. Tell me what the beauty of that simplicity means for y'all, and how did y'all get to the point where grand gestures ain't our thing? Let's just love on one another. Can you tell me that in a couple of minutes?
That's just more like my wife. I'm just trying to, yeah. I honestly, it's just a love language thing.
Yeah.
Is it something that you just kind of learn? Like, oh, my wife don't want to be out in front of everybody.
I think we're both
Well,
introverts, so it works. Like he
definitely.
was always simple. He didn't need too much, and that's just what I am. Like I'm a realistic. I like to, like you said, for the wedding, for example, I didn't, it's about the marriage, not the wedding. I didn't need the extra stuff. And just the love language thing, acts of service, simple things for me. I'm okay with it. He's okay with it. As both being introverts, we can be around people, but we prefer to have that time with each other. So it's not, as long as I'm with him, I'm good. I don't really need all the extra stuff.
Now shift the camera just a little bit. Let me. What you got anything to add? Perfect. You got anything to add, DJ?
Um, no, not really. I think that was perfect. Honestly, we don't need all that flash and stuff like that, but we will do it. But oh, we
Do
will
it.
Right.
can do it. We'll do
Mhm.
it. But it's not. That's not the point of it. The point of it is to show each other love.
Yeah.
That's the most
For
important
us to
part.
feel it. It's not about nobody else.
Final words for other couples that may be engaged, other couples that may just be dating, other couples that may just be shacking up and making babies, who are thinking about it, who are considering about it, other couples who are married. And if you were in a marriage support group of your peers, what would be your parting words to individuals?
Do it for yourself. Don't, don't get the validation of others because that's what a lot of people look for that. Keep everything between y'all, whether you're going through stuff or not. And the only person I talk to at this point is really God or my mom. But other than that, and then keep people around you that's like minded because a lot of people who are the circle that they deal with are either single or just don't have that mindset, marriage mindset, or couples, or being, I guess, loyal to their partners. So
Right.
be around like minded people.
Like I would say, hmm, if I was around a bunch of other couples, let's say I'm sitting in a big group of people, I would say go do it. Go hard and love each other because that's all we can do, and we don't have 100,000 years on this earth, and I think we just need to limit our time and make sure our time is on the important stuff, on the people that we love and the family that we trying to grow.
I love it. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I want to give my sister Viesa a happy birthday shout out. Quay, I was watching you and you look like her. Oh my God. So many
Oh my
times I looked
God.
at you and I was like, she favorite Viesa. So happy birthday to you, Chad. Thank you so much, Quay and DJ, for joining us.
No
Everybody,
problem, no
y'all heard
problem.
them. Do y'all don't try to keep up with the Joneses. They in a realm of
We
their
on a
own.
whole nother
But if you
level.
but if you gotta learn from somebody, it won't be bad learning from them. I appreciate y'all time. I appreciate y'all honesty. I appreciate y'all showing up. I can honestly say y'all are my favorite couple on this planet. And I wish y'all all the best, and anything I can do to continue to support what you guys are doing. I am here for y'all. I love y'all and thank you so much. And
Thank you,
to the
Mom.
audience, y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all chose to be here with me, Quay and DJ. Peace.
Later.